I'm Jasmina Ahmetovic. And coming from Serbia, recently moved to Germany, exploring some new stuff, and yeah, taking to a new life adventure. After that, I'm a really proud community member and hackathon participant. If you participate in any hackathon really soon from Microsoft community, you probably saw my name somewhere, either participating or volunteering or doing anything regarding that, at least just liking and sharing the posts. Because I really cherish our community and think this is a great way people to connect and also work together. Just there's so many benefits of community. So if you're not a member of one, I would just highly recommend that. Apart from that, I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, delivering trainings regarding Microsoft certifications and other Microsoft topics. I'm also a Microsoft business application engineer, doing engineering developing work regarding to Microsoft stack, regarding actually particular Power Platform, Dynamics, and Azure platform. Okay, let's get started. Oops, sorry. First, we will just get an overview of a Power Platform. I will say a word or two about what is the Power Platform in particular, because I'm sure that most of you know, but just in case if anyone else is just missing out on some part, just to remind ourselves. And I forgot to mention, but if you have any questions during any part of presentation or regarding to anything, just post them in the chat. And at the end of the session, I will just have time dedicated to questions and answers, and then we will go through all the questions, or if you have any cases and I can help you any concerns, like, yeah, do let me know in the chat. Okay, so what is a Power Platform at all? So Power Platform is some kind of joined tool separated in a small pieces, which are actually the whole tools itself. So Power Platform is a tool you can leverage other tools from. It doesn't seem right when you say that. It's kind of an environment of every single tool in particular. Why I say that? That's because Power Platform tools can work with each other or also work separately. So you can either leverage one of the tools from Power Platform, or you can leverage all of them, or you can leverage a few of them. It just depends on your business need and what are you at the moment looking for from the Power Platform. I will start from Dataverse, because Dataverse is, in general, database made for Power Platform. In the main optimized way, is it a lot of recommend similar to Microsoft SQL if you ever work with, but if you're not, it's not important. You just store the data there, and it has a really friendly interface, so you don't need to be familiar with any SQL language or anything in order to do your things and store your data inside of database. That's what's Microsoft is all about. It's a low code, no code platform, so you can leverage additional tools with without knowing what is sitting behind of that. So we know this is a database, and there we have a storage for data somewhere, but we don't know what we don't need to know. It's not in our concern to know how that is working in the backend, because we have a really nice interface which enables us to use all the features really easy in an easy way and in intuitive way, which is the most important for us as a users of a Power Platform. Then we move from a Dataverse, we move to Power Automate. So Power Automate is a tool from which you can do any kind of business logic, data manipulations, anything you need to do some kind of conversion or execute some kind of the process, you can do with Power Automate. And it's not only limited to the data in Dataverse or limited only to Power Platform. Power Automate has, I think, in general, Power Platform has more than 400 connectors to other systems, and they can all work together with other systems and within themselves. And that's what's the beauty of the Power Platform. It kind of tends to bring everything together. So you have everything you need in one place, but you can also easily integrate with other systems as per your need or for business requirements. Then we move to Power Virtual Agents. We can easily have our chatbots integrated either on a website, which can be custom-made. We can integrate that inside of Microsoft Power Apps platforms. Portal specifically, or we can just use that in our web app, which is outside of Microsoft, just using the simple script for that. And that's, again, advantage of the Microsoft, because you're building your topics. You do everything, you're leveraging the data inside of Power Platform, but then that same chatbot can be represented on multiple places. iBuilder is something which is still new to the Power Platform, because it's doing some kind of artificial intelligence, which you probably heard something around it. That it is making a model, which you are making the model being smarter and smarter every time you input a new data to it. If you get a chance, I will, when I show you the Power Platform, I may touch base on what is the iBuilder in more detail, if you're interested in it. Then Power Apps will be focused on our session today, so I won't talk much at this moment, but all you need to know is that you can create a Power App really easily, just with a few clicks, without even need to know how to code. So you can have a full function app without need to know how to code. Then we have a Power BI, which is visualization and analysis of the data. And then you can visualize your data in the way you want. So you have a number of possibilities to build dashboards like you can only imagine. Then you can either integrate that with a Visio as well to get cute icons related to particular tables, and then just make the dashboard of your dreams as well, just using the interface. And because interface is really intuitive, and that's something which is related to Power Platform, is just so familiar that with a few clicks, you can realize what that tool is doing, even if you never touched that tool before. So we are moving to Power Apps, and from now on, we are just going to talk about Power Apps Basic. So what I want you to take away from this session is knowing how to create an app, knowing what you need, how to look for something if you're not familiar with it, because we don't have enough time for me to show you everything in advance in deep dive. Maybe on some other session that would be a great subject. But for now, I'm just going to show you the way how you can manage on your Power Platform, and just deep dive will come along as you work on it. I'll just show you basic, show what you look, how to create an app in a really easy way, and then everything else will come as you do that. Okay, so we have two types of Power Apps. One is model-driven app, and another one is canvas app. Both are really intuitive, easy to use, and easy to build. For neither of those two, you don't need any kind of developer practice behind. So you don't need to be a developer, and that's the thing Microsoft really pushes up, is that this is a low code, no code. So you don't need code in order to build a simple app. So you can easily build that with a familiar interface and using some familiar commands. What are the main difference is that model-driven apps, you would use model-driven apps if you need to implement the whole process. You need something which is full functionality, and it is based on the model. It is based on the database itself. So if you want your database to be in the focus, and then you need to do some kind of data manipulation to represent something, to do some actions and implement business process flow inside of it, then you'll probably go with a model-driven app. But if you need something like just easy tasks to be achieved, or you need a separate apps, mobile or tablet apps, to be available for separate, for example, organizational roles. I need one app for sales to access orders, or I need one app for finance to just send invoices. You will most definitely go just with the Canvas app if you have an isolated functionality. But if you want to implement the whole business structure, the whole feature, you will then most definitely go with the model-driven app. Okay, I think I talked not so much, but I just touched base, and that's what I wanted, because probably I took a look at the other sessions as well. So there were talks about the Power Platform in general, and I just wanted to touch base just in case if anyone was missing on that session, or just to remind ourselves, like, what is Power Platform and what it can do. And now we are going to do the demo for the apps. I prepare a very specific use case because I like to have a flow when I'm building something. For example, I needed to prepare for demo for this session, and I was thinking, okay, what's easy and close to us as a general user? So that's why I took a restaurant business. We probably, all of us, just went to the restaurant sometime and just order something. And so if you look that as a point of the customer, okay, you will have a few questions like, okay, I'm allergic to this kind of food. Does it contain that? And then you will get an answer, well, I don't know, I need to ask the chef. And then you kind of leaking on that process a little bit, like you're constantly like waiting, or you don't know what is inside if there is no ingredients named. And then there is a little bit of misunderstanding there, or could happen. If you look to the other side of the screen and look to the restaurant business itself, then you will see, okay, then waiters need to do some roles like need to get the food, need to get the drinks, need to know everything, take care of the price, take care of the customers. Then you have a chefs who are behind, like preparing all the meals, and one average restaurant have around 50 to 100 meals. So it's really hard to keep up with those. And that's how, based on those use cases, we are going to now move and build up our app. Okay, give me a second. So this is make.powerapps.com. This is the main Power Apps Studio screen, and this is probably where you will spend all your time if you're doing anything regarding Power Apps, because as you can see on the left side navigation, you can easily access Dataverse, flows, chatbots, AI Builder, basically everything I mentioned on the Power Platform overview. And I would, as the first thing first, I would just mention, you probably know about those things, but it's not we don't have anything to lose if you just mention one more time. Is just make sure that you have the right environment, because when you create an environment itself, then you get this default one. But I wouldn't recommend doing your changes in default one, because Microsoft constantly have some constraints regarding the default environment, and it's not always functioning the way you would like. So just go to Admin Center. You can easily find Admin Center around this settings button. Okay, click on the Admin Center, go and create an environment, which is really easy. It should be that much of a trouble. It's just pressing the new button. I can just show you. Just pressing a button. Okay. Okay, so here you can see that I have two environments, and then if you want to create a new environment, you'll just press a new and then create your one as a trial one. And then okay. So now when we make sure that we are in the right environment, so we don't need to redo, because if you do your changes, so for example, you create an app in this default environment, and then this trial environment is actually where you want to see your app. You will open a trial environment and realize, okay, there is no app, what happened? And then you will need to go to the process of deployment of moving one app, exporting from one environment and importing to another environment, which some kind of prolong the process, and you can have either some issues or something like that. So just make sure that you are in the right environment. Okay, so I mentioned that we will have some kind of restaurant business, and that needs to be based on the some some are use case, which I already explained, like we have a customer complaining about some food ingredients, and then we have on the other side, waiters and chefs like needed to keep up with the recipes and everything. In that manner, I have this bar, by the way, I don't know why, I will just move this to vertical to for myself, okay? So for that, I just implemented a simple SharePoint list. SharePoint list representing a cookbook. We have some general information. We have a name of the meal. We have a recipe. We have allergens. We have image of that meal. And then we have some nutrition values related to that meal per 100 grams. And then here we have just five meals ready to be prepared by the chef. So this is our main source of data. So in order for us to leverage an app and actually show recipes, we need to have a data coming from somewhere. And for this, we are going to use this SharePoint list. Now, if I go to Power Apps, and then you can see this Power Apps is really up here to help you leverage all its functionality. So if you just click on the home button and you come here, it says, okay, what are these really hyperlinks, quick actions you can take? So this is basically the page for a quick action. So if you want to build an app, okay, you know what your data source is, where you're getting your data. Okay, let's start from data. That's what you know. So start from there. If you want to just simply, oops. If you want to make a blank app and then start from nothing, start from scratch, and then build your app, then that's fine. Okay, start from scratch. You can build a Canvas app, model-driven app, a portal, everything. You can just start from scratch, nothing is added, and you just build your app on top of that. Then it says, okay, maybe you're not familiar with that. Okay, let me leave you some learning paths you can take. And then voila, if you don't know how to do something, there must definitely be a way or a guide for you to just follow the steps and then learn your way up. Why I'm doing this short introduction of the platform is because it's really important for you to know how you manage your way. It's not just, okay, let's open this and create an app. Okay, we will get to that part, but you first need to know how you can manage your way inside of Power Platform, and what is what and what is where as well. So this is what I'm trying to show you as well. This is some kind of quick action for learning. If you need some more learning material, you can get a guide. If you have any specific topics you're interested in, just explore topics and community. I mentioned, just join the community, ask the question. You will get not only one answer, you probably get multiple answers, and then you can just widen your horizons, because you then have a multiple, you have different people starting from a different points, having different opinions, but also solving one problem you have. So just pick the one and then find your way in the community. I would highly recommend that. So let's get back to our app. We are just going to build a quickly Canvas app. So I told you we are having a SharePoint list with all the recipes, which will be in use by waiters and chefs for different reasons. So I'm here, want to start an app. I know that I have a SharePoint. Okay, I will just click on this SharePoint. It's now taking me to Power Apps Studio. It says, okay, it's already recognized me because I'm already logged in. But if you're not logged in, you will click on new connection and then search for your connection. Just type in your details and log in with your details. I'm just going to choose this one. Then after you choose one, I just created this site specifically for this meetup. If you have multiple sites, then you can choose one of those. I'll just choose this one. And then if you have, of course, if you have multiple lists, then you can just pick the one you need and connect. So what is the process in the background? In the background, they analyze what we have in that list, what are the data, holding that list, what are the fields, and voila, the app. It's so intuitive process because they know based on that connector, app knows what you need, what is going to be there. They know what to expect. So if you if you connect the list, SharePoint list, it's just to know that it will have some columns, it will have some records in it, and then just getting that data right up in front of you. It's just voila. And I will just show you for the purpose of this app. Then if you just click, now, this is as plain as a basic as you get. So if I just show you how this is working, you will see that now we have a list of all our recipes, 5 of them. If we click on this right arrow, we can open one recipe. Okay, this is looking something. Okay, we can even edit the recipe. Okay, now this is getting better. Okay, of course, save our edit or just leave. So this is actually what we need to. So chefs can easily open this, see how they need to prepare the meal. If you have a waiter who needs to communicate with the customer, okay, hi, excuse me, what are the allergens? Or for example, yogurt. Then I will just type instant yogurt. And I was like, okay, well, milk, you know, like, and then you can give direct response to the customer. And customer will appreciate that because you won't have that long waiting. Okay, I don't know, it probably doesn't have anything. I think it's just this or that. You have direct response covered by the facts, and then customer appreciate that. And then right away, at that moment, you have a better customer service. Okay, but we are not, of course, this search will work. Now we have only 5 items, but if in regular restaurant we have 50 meals, then you'll of course use this search button to search through those. Now I will just introduce you to this Canvas app interface really quickly. So once you start working on it, or if you're working just alongside with me, you know what is there. So if you notice this top navigation bar, it's a little bit familiar, like MS Word and something like that. And that's because Microsoft tends to have the same styles across the multiple tools. And that's why they're so intuitive, because if you once used one of the tools, no matter which one, and you start using another one, you will have that familiar feeling, which kind of drives you to actually do something with it. Okay, so on the left side, we have some actions. These 3 views represent our apps, our app in component. So every component of our app specifically, and what is on which screen. You can see here we have a browse screen, then we have a gallery, then we have something on the gallery. If you click on any of those screens, for example, let's click on this text search box, it will highlight on the app. So you actually know in which context are you looking for. So if I'm now on the browse screen, but I want to move to the detail screen, if I click on that, it will automatically move to the screen. So I am constantly in the context of what I want to change, add, or amend. Okay, so on this insert, it's really straightforward. You can insert any element for the app, like text label, form, input, gallery. You have really a number of elements provided here. Then you have data. So it's really important for you to know of what data you're leveraging in this app. So here you can see this is a cookbook from a SharePoint. It can happen that you need to leverage multiple data sources in one app, and that's not a problem at all. You will just have the list of all in here, and you will have also, like here you can see cookbook, you will have the special connection to what data particular you're leveraging. If you want to add any video, image, you'll put your upload your media here, and then you can just drag and drop and use them. Advanced tools is something maybe it comes to later on or some advanced sessions where you monitor your app, finding bugs, just doing simple testing, and yeah, etc. Okay, so if you go back to tree view, which is the most used one, you will notice that once I click the different element, the right hand navigation changed. And that's because not all the elements has the same properties. So what you can see on the right hand navigation is that we have different properties for different elements, like border, colors, position, layout. We have some advanced properties, action items. So most of those advanced properties you can find in this top navigation here. And it's even maybe more intuitive to do any changes around here, because you can just simply click on this drop down and find the property you need. So I don't expect anyone to just remember, okay, we have this many properties, because it's just not in human nature. And that's why everything is just listed here. So you can easily access and find one. You can even search, okay, I don't need this, I want border thickness. Yeah, okay, then just type that, border thickness. Okay, so now we got an app, but we kind of don't love the way the app is functioning, in the terms like you've probably noticed when I open this detail screen, not detail screen, sorry, this edit screen, it's kind of getting everything in one line. So if I want to edit a recipe, for example, we are missing one step, the chef noticed that we're missing one step. He wants just quickly to add one step, but he kind of have everything in one line. So it's not perfect. The way which comes out of the box is not perfect, but it's easy to amend. So for the text fields, we have different modes. So we can have either a single line mode, which is this mode here, just having everything in single line. Multi-line modes are enabling you to add some paragraphs, spaces, and everything. And password modes for password fields, which is also really awesome, because if you're not coming from a developer background, you don't need to do all the CSS, okay, how I can hide the password and not make that field available. So you just need to use a password mode. So what I'm talking about is just, we have mode. So you can see here, it's a single line mode, okay? But we want to change that to be, and I'm not going to type it. Let's just look at this. So if I just type any letter, it will just intuitively know and just suggest me what to type. So I don't even need to know how it's actually pronounced. I just can find, okay, it's not a single line, it's probably multi-line. Let's just try that. And then it will more definitely will be. So how we are moving our fields together is just easy drag and drop component. Every field has its own card. And if I want, for example, because this field is a little bit bigger and I need more space for that, I just want to drag that down, and eventually, automatically, all the fields will just drop down as far as I drew that card down the road. Now I need to do the same with field, and yeah, here it comes. So we have everything we need just in this section. So now everything is visible. And if it's not visible, we will have this a little bit scroll bar here. So they can scroll. If this recipe has only one step, that's fine. But if you have recipes with multiple steps, then they will be able to move and scroll around. Okay, so we made this a little bit better. We show that how nice it can look. But at the end, okay, maybe I need to like change something, maybe for this to pop up, because it's like a main part of the screen. So I just want to highlight that or something with some color. So we can use the fill to set up the colors. It is using RGB as a criterion for entering the colors, but also you don't need to use that. If you have any familiar color you want to use, like any of the basic, like green, yellow, fine. So it's right away pop up from the screen. So you have your focus on that particular recipes. for example. So I'm showing you different properties, and we don't have time to go through all the properties, of course, but I just want to show you how easy it is to change something you don't like, you wish it's not there, or something around those lines. So you can see that I was using this function a lot. This is a function field holding a different function. So here you can write, for example, I want this to be something else. I want to write some if this this item actually represents the context of the record we are opening. So in our scenario, it's instant yogurt. So it will refer to instant yogurt. But once you open sesame soup, it will represent that soup item. And that's how we reference to things inside of this inside of the screens. Let's say with this allergens dot value equal milk, then do color of yellow, else black. Oh, okay. Okay. So, okay. No. Okay, true value. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Because allergens are I just used the wrong field. This is the option set. But that's the point of all the functions. You will just use the function in a way that, for example, this if we change a color, or if something is right, then we just open another screen based on some field, and you have just a number of function available. And how you find the number of functions is here. You have, if you open this function tab, you have this learn more. And if you open this learn more, it will redirect you to the Microsoft Docs with all the functions in alphabetical order. So you can see a lot of functions on there. If you look to the right side, you can see all the properties, all the functions right in there. If I know that I, for example, need maybe navigation, navigate you will use a lot, because navigate function you will use to move from one screen to another screen. For example, if I go back here, okay, just going to change this to be green, yellow. Okay. And if I want to, for example, navigate from one screen to another, like in terms like we have on the browse screen, if I click on this, I want to navigate to another screen, then I probably need to say, okay, browse gallery. And then because that moment I'm selecting, so if you saw, sorry, so if you see this, the back arrow, if I click on that, it says on select, which is when I click on that arrow, select the parent, select where I'm based in, which actually means select that item in the gallery. So what I say in a gallery, okay, on select, okay, on select, oh, sorry, on select, navigate, and then I specify which screen, and then you have a multiple input parameters you can use, as you can see here. If you scroll a little bit down, you can, up here, you can see what you can use. You can either put some name of the screen and screen transition, or just name of the screen, or just add additional parameters you need to pass by. It's just, you can choose any of these versions of the navigate. You don't need to choose any specific. Okay, so here the transition is none. And then when we switch screens, it doesn't have that intuitive model. So screen transition means that, yeah, I want to see the feedback of the app when I'm changing the screen from one to another. So in our scenario, you just set to none, and that's by default, but we want to see something. So let's say that we want to cover from one screen to another. So we just want to have that cover smooth fade effect in order to, for me to know that, okay, I'm switching now from one screen to another. And that's important when we are building app, because even when we are using ourselves, we are using our apps, we need to know, we need to have that feedback kind of like, okay, I click on something, how I know that I click on something if you don't pop that up for me, or you change the screen really nicely. We need to have those little bits of details to think about those, just to have that user experience much better. Like I just noticed how you can pop up a screen or something like that. So this is also one of the properties on the transition on the gallery, which you can say, okay, if I like hover any of the items in a gallery, I want this to pop up, for example. Okay, so if we now go to play, we will hear this really nice pop-up when we are moving through our gallery. So we actually know where we are based on. And if you click here, it will have that cover we just added. So it will just have that really nice cover and just have that really nice effect. And then we click to edit, and then we end up here with really nice look and feel now, because now it's really easy to say, okay, this is step 1. I just need to add, okay, it's actually step 4. I just need to add step 5, serve nicely. Okay. And then just click save, and it will automatically, which is important, right from here, it will feed up the SharePoint list itself. So we have that direct connection works both ways. We are getting the data from SharePoint. So SharePoint is sending us data. And on the other hand, we can edit the data and do add additional rows, or like we did now, we just amend existing one or we delete one. It will automatically feed back to SharePoint in nearly real time. Okay, I can see this is getting a little bit long, but this is basically I wanted to show you for this Canvas app. Most of the things is just for you to manage your way to the Canvas app. If you need, of course, if you need additional screen, you can just click a new screen. You have a lot of templates. So you notice while I was showing you the Power Platform interface itself, you notice that there is a lot of templates provided from Microsoft to you. And that's what Microsoft also makes, I don't know, a good tool provider, is that they're thinking for you. So, okay, we noticed while we're testing that a lot of people use forms. Okay, here's the form screen. We noticed that you need lists. Okay, here's the list screen. And you can easily, if you have a list, for example, I want to add a new list. You can see now this is an empty list. We don't have any data available, but that's so easy to add a data to it, because it will remind you that you don't have a data. This will be empty. So it says to you, okay, add a data source. Now we just have this data source available. I will just again add the recipes, the meals. But that's what you have a lot of IntelliSense, you have a lot of helpers here. So even if you forget something around the functions, you just click here, go learn more, find the function. If you forget to add the data source, it will remind you to add a data source. You can even change the layout. You're not limited to this. You can change it in the way you like. If you want just to have a title, that's fine, just have a title. If you want to, if you have images like we do now, you can have image and a title, image and a subtitle. It's just up to you to choose from what's provided. And you can also edit the fields which are representing here. Okay, image, we have one image field, but for title, okay, let's say I don't want title. for some reason, I want that to be, I don't know, sugars representing. For some reason, now it doesn't make sense in this scenario, but I just wanted to show you the concept of it. Or if I want to pop up a little bit this gallery, I want to add a border. I will say, okay, let's add a border 10 with a border color of yellow. Okay, so I have a border. So you're allowed to style this in the way you prefer, without knowing any kind of style sheet, CSS, anything, just using the what's provided by tool to you. So as you can see, I did not code. I did nothing from coding perspective, and I still made an app which is functioning really nice. What I also wanted to mention for you and is make sure that you keep your work clean. As now you can see, I added this one, this screen more, but looking on these screens, you probably don't know what they are. And imagine if I have, now I have only a cookbook and a meals, but imagine if I have meals, cookbooks, I have tables, I have customers, I have suppliers, and all those tables around, and I have 3 screens per table. It's kind of get crowded in here. And if you just use a simple naming convention, for example, call this all meals or something like that, screen, it already makes a lot better to find your and manage your arrays. Just using a simple search, I'll now search for all meals. Okay, this is my screen. It doesn't, maybe it doesn't add much value when you have only 4 screens, but you can imagine a scenario where you have more screens and you have more data to use. Then it kind of brings value into it, because then you make around the Power Apps, you make that a lot smoother. You find your way here. I am adding a screen. I want to change my gallery. I want to change the search item. I want to add something else. It's just add a lot of value to it. Okay, I'm just keep looking at the clock, but I just want to show you. So there is a way, which is the most important thing is when once you build an app, you need to save the app. You have 2 options: to save to the cloud, to the environment you were building that app to, or locally on your computer. I'm just going to save that in the cloud. And so now when app is just saved, it's just available for you to view it in some manner. So if I do duplicate, just move to another, powerapps.com, make. So if I go to make.powerapps.com, you will be able to see the app. Okay, if you're not in the right environment, you're not able to see the app, but make sure to change the environment to the right one, then navigate to the apps where you can see the app. Okay, you can see the app. I saved that 39 seconds ago, and that's completely fine. You can share it with someone else if you want. For example, okay, I'm doing just one part, and then my colleague is going to, for example, if I'm doing one part, and then John is going to continue, that's completely fine. I will just have him as a corner, just make sure that he has that connection, and then share the app with him. And then he will get a notification saying that app is shared with him. If we quickly go back to our app, back. Okay, so this is how our app is looking like. It's not much of the look and feel, but it is doing the work we needed to do. So it is showing a list of all meals. It is showing how we can edit a meal. It is showing how we can view all the meal or the recipes and everything on one place. If we, okay, so here actually. Now I will just hop up. So this was a really quick introduction on how we can do this with a Canvas app. I just want to show you a model-driven app really quickly. Model-driven apps are so you can choose from the model designer and classic designer. This model designer is still in preview, as you can see. It's not yet done, so I tend to use the classic one until everything is prepared, so all the functionality is there. Model-driven app will rely on your data the most. So I have a Dataverse implemented this Power Platform with the sample data you can get from just creating an environment. You can choose to get the sample data or not. And then I have that. So I will just call it meals. As I don't have any better idea. Enable for mobile. Yeah, sorry, I don't have this set it up here, but if you have a set it up mobile profiles, then it's just fine. Then you need to configure the sitemap. But first you need to add some entities. So here you can say, okay, inside of this model-driven app, I want to show accounts. I want to show, for example, contacts. I want to show activities, and something like that. So you can choose, you have another data source, which is a Dataverse in this scenario, and then you want to show only few entities from the data source, you filter right away. So you don't want all entities to be applicable. Like you can see here, I have action cards, I have attachments, currencies, feedbacks, social activities, and something like that. So I don't want those to be available for users of this app. I just want those three to be available. So you can go even step deeper and say, okay, for accounts, I don't want all, you can see now here, all forms are selected, all quick forms, quick create forms, or as well as for views, charts, and etc. So I can say, okay, I don't want all views to be there. I just want this regular all accounts view. And then it will be available for users to just access the all accounts view. I'm going to just quickly save this. Sitemap is something which leads and it's navigation which user can use just to navigate through your app. Just to said, like we have on the Canvas app, we have just list of the meals, and then you have those arrows. And once you click on the arrow, you will lead to another screen. Similar thing is happening here, except now you have much more of the functionality available in terms like you can build this in a really nice way, like having an area, which is also out of the box, meals. Then maybe have a group called like, okay, here I'm going to show counts and something like that. And then in sub area, you can add entities or dashboards or web resource or URL. So by clicking on whatever we are going to have here, by clicking on that from navigation, users will be taken to somewhere. So this is where the action is happening. Here is just you navigate through this navigation bar, but once you click on this sub area, that's the point where action is made. So I will just put this to be an entity and account, and then I will say accounts entity. Okay. Okay, so my new area for accounts is ready. I'm just going to save this and publish. And the moment of publishing is that the very first moment that app is actually created. So if you now go to, I think here, yeah, you should be able to see our app. So this is our app, and we can access the app. No, okay. Should be able to access the app. Maybe it just takes a little bit of time to publish. Now strange things happen. We should be able to see our app. Oh, okay. So I didn't actually publish the app. I published the sitemap, and that's what happens with these model-driven apps. Is that everything is based on some kind of references and connections, and everything is tied up together. Like you have a small chunk of functionality, like this sitemap, and then you have an app. And that sitemap is added on top of that app. So you need to take care of every single bit alongside of taking care of the whole app. But that's also that that function app allows you to have a more customizable experience. So I can build the app in some kind of way. Every single of you can build the app in different kind of way. Like I have a functionality for restaurants. I want meals and accounts and contacts, but maybe someone else will have some car shop. They will need cars. They will need contacts. They will need banks, maybe for some kind of bank loan or something like that, etc. So now if we go to this meal, we can access the app really easily. So we can see this app. It's completely fine. We have some accounts inside of it. Those are the sample accounts I deployed alongside with my organization, but we can easily click on the new, add new account, test meetup 21, save that account, and we will be able to see now that account inside of this view. So if I say test, I can see and access my account right away. If I want to also delete any of those accounts, I can just quickly click on delete, an account is being deleted. And this model-driven app in the backend is connected to Dataverse. So if you now go to the tables, we will find our account table, which we'll leverage inside of that model-driven app. We can see now everything related to that table, like what are the columns available, what are relationship, what are business rules, if you have any business rules. So these model-driven apps are apps for features for the whole business processes. You wouldn't make a, for example, a model-driven app just to show you account, like I did in this particular scenario, is just to show you how you can create one for the purpose of this session. But you will build that, for example, if you have some order coming in, and then you need to pass that order to some kind of finance system to do something with it, create an invoice, that invoice comes back in. You know, like if you have the whole business process, you will, in this scenario, choose to build a model-driven app, and then you can have a different set of business rules, forms, dashboards, and etc. If you go to the last column, which is called data, then you can easily access all data related to this table, and that's the same data here we are seeing here. So we can see the same amount of data. If you see here, I just added this test meetup, and it's showing right below event. Okay, so what can I do? I don't know. Do you have much time? Maybe I just wanted to show you one more functionality, is that you can actually integrate easily integrate the Canvas app inside of model-driven app. And that's something which can come useful in different scenarios when I need to, for example, in our scenarios, when we have all the recipes, I need to be able to view all the recipes created by one chef, and then have that in there. Because I already have an app related to recipes, I will just have that inside of my model-driven app. Okay, I will quickly create a field representing my Canvas app. Single line. So first, I should probably explain what is this. This is just a general interface for creating fields related to a specific table. So now here you can see it's field new for account, which means that I'm creating a new field for this account entity. And then I can choose either the type of the field, single line, option set, multi-select option set, and just number of the fields. Depends what you need. For this integration, we kind of need the single line of text. And because I'm not sure how long the app ID is, I'm just going to maxim this out. Okay, turns out it already exists. Fine, maybe cookbook, something like that. Fine, okay. Then I'm going to publish. And I'm going to save and close. And I just quickly need to go to Power Apps. I needed to publish. No. Okay. Oh, maybe I already did. I have too many things open and I still need one more. Okay, fine. If you go to make.powerapps.com, okay, we need to switch to the right environment. Open the app. Open the app. Not the way I wanted. Okay, fine. Okay, and it's actually the wrong app, but never mind. Okay, so we want this app to go to details, and then we want we need this app ID. Oop. Okay, and we need this to. Okay, switch to classic. Okay, we need to place our field, which is called the cookbook. Here, I'm going to just place it here, and then we can have a high control, add a control, canvas app, and then all you need to do is populate the app name, and the app name is, we can just easily, oops. Sorry, copy it. I'm just confused with all the Windowses I have opened, but that happens from time to time. I said I want to see that on, for example, from here, this is the field properties, and from here you can say set a different controls on different fields, and then leverage those in some kind of manner which like fits you the best. For example, I want to this field to represent Canvas app only if it's open through a web, but I want this to be phone or tablet if it is opening from I want to be a regular text box if it's opening from phone or tablet. So here, if I just can show you, you have a number of columns, controls available. So some of those like built by a community, some of those like provided by Microsoft, like this Canvas app is provided by Microsoft, okay, of course. But yeah, it's just whatever. If you probably need something to show up, it's probably there is already control for that. So before building something on your own, just check first, is there a control for that showing up something? If not, then go ahead, build. There is a super cool tool called Power Apps Component Framework, where you can build the different controls for different fields. Okay, and then we need app ID. Okay, go to settings. This is a standard, this is preload. Okay. Account form. It should be this one. and then add here. So what I'm populating here is just all required fields for our app to load. Because sometimes you have a control, then you need some kind of input parameters in order for that control to work. Like here, we need to know what is the app name and app ID. If I choose then any other different control, I will just have different input parameters required. And in any of those, we probably saw, I can either bind to a static value and say, okay, I will just write what that input control needs to be. Like here, app name, I'm just writing it down. And in some other scenarios, maybe if you have something dependent, for example, I want to show some kind of fancy grid only if a user have a setting for that on this account, and I will just bring that together and bind that together through some field available on that account entity. But for now, we don't need this. I'm really sorry. I now see that it's already 7, but I think it's okay. It's just there's not much to do. So if I open the form, yeah, you should see the Canvas app in there, and it's just here maybe it doesn't make much sense, but if you imagine that we have some chef here representing all the recipes he built, and then we want to get that insights right away. Okay, so I think I covered most of the subjects I was planning to. I hope as a takeaway, you will know how to manage yourself inside of the Power Platform. You will know how to create a Canvas app, where to look for additional resources. You will know how to create a model-driven app, even if it was a really short demo. But you get the point, like it is based on some kind of a model. So what I forgot to mention is that in this example, I showcase how you can create a model driven app based on Dataverse. And I talked previously about Dataverse, and what I mentioned is that it's all out of the box, provided when I firstly created an environment. But of course, you can create your custom tables, you can create your custom fields, you can create your custom business logic. On top of that, you can bring and leverage other Power Platform tools. And just if you need any kind of specific logic, you can have a Power Automate sitting on top of that. And yeah, just combined everything based on the business requirements. But I hope that I kind of get closer to you. What is the Power Platform Studio, how it looks like, how you can find additional resources, how you can customize that, how you can create it. And yeah, so thank you for listening and for staying and for being on this presentation. And I can see there is a questions in the chat.
Yes, first of all, I would like to thank you for your wonderful session. Actually, I have noted all the questions, so with your permission, I would like to ask them. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to begin with Pragati Jain's question. She's asking that, are there any licensing constraints with the use of Power Apps, or is it free to use? And if you don't mind, actually, I can share my screen. You will be able to read. Yes,
well, yeah.
Okay, this question, right? This one, okay?
Okay. Yes, Power Apps has a licensing package coming with those. So you can either have a per app plan or a per user plan. So if you're planning to build one application, and you will just use that one application across for all the organization, you will then tend to choose the per app plan. Or if you plan to have a small number of users using different application, you will go to per user plan. But unfortunately, it's not free of charge. You have trials to build and try out the features. But eventually, after 30 days, you can also extend that for additional 30 days. That's something Microsoft allows. But after the trial, you kind of need to pay additional cost. But it's a lot cheaper than it was. They lower the price. So yeah, if it's a manner of organization, I think it's a good price to pay.
Okay, so we go on with the two comments. So let's get started with Anita's screen. She says, cool, I'm trying it on my computer. It works. I made my first ugly app. And then Stefan goes on, and he thinks that is all the food examples making anyone else feel hungry. So I understand. Yes, and then so I also prepared some questions for you, Jasmina. So first of all, I know you touched to this point, but however, so I would like to ask you to repeat it again. So the difference between model-driven app and Canvas app. So it's possible, yeah.
Yeah. So first, I want to say that I don't know who built an app, but congratulations. That's the point of my presentation here in this session. Actually, is for you to be able to build your app. It's not important if it's ugly or not as well. It's just if it works, it's a good step, and then you get that wind in your back, and then just you're on the roll. Regarding that difference between model app and Canvas app is if you have a complex business logic to implement. So you have a number of processes. You need more functionality to be executed inside of that app itself. You need to have more touch points. Then you will go with a model-driven app, because you saw I created an app with a few steps, and I was able to have a separate area and sub area. So you have a little bit more of customization available. I was able to integrate a Canvas app inside of it. If I would have a Power BI, I would just easily integrate that as well. So for the more complex business logic, I would go with a Power App, model-driven app, and with some kind of functionality base, like we had here, we just need the functionality of the recipe to be available to the staff inside of the restaurant. Then we will go with a Canvas app, because it's just one functionality and one app for that one functionality, which is not though limited to. You can build your Canvas apps to have multiple functionalities, but it's kind of getting messy when you constantly need to click through. And then and also, maybe I didn't mention that, but Canvas app are now available only for phone and tablets. The model-driven app you can use for web as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jasmina. So let me go on with the following question. So is it possible to use multiple data sources in one Canvas app?
Yes, of course. So you can connect to different data sources, and you saw maybe the bit when I added a new screen and added a new form. So it's just displayed all available data sources. So if you want, for example, one screen to represent one data source, another screen to represent a different data source, you will just choose on that specific screen what data source you want to represent on that screen.
Okay, my last but not least question. So can we access local network data sources in Power Apps?
So for something which is local, it's kind of tricky, because you kind of need to have that access point to internet, as far as I know. So as we are not all knowing, and I may have wrong information, but even when you build your custom connector, it kind of needs to have a connection to other system, which will happen by sending some messages back and forth. So I think you kind of need to, but don't take that as a gold word, as in my country would say. I can check that and let you let you know after that, but I think you need to.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, the seventh question has been also asked by Pragati Jane. It's also regarding the access to a license. So Fernando mentioned template field, but I didn't get the point. So if you, Fernando, you are here, so just unmute yourself and you can tell about your comment if you are here, of course. And then Pragati also asked the following question: can the app be shared with external users outside the organization? This was the question from Pragati, right?
Yes, so I think that came with this last release, that now this is possible, but previously it wasn't possible. So I think I read somewhere, keeping up with Microsoft releases, that now it is possible, but I'm not sure, is it came like a preview, or is it real functionality applicable? So Microsoft release from now, I don't know, like 3 times a year or 4 times a year, different functionalities to see how community will react. And I think I read somewhere that this is now a feature, but I'm not sure, is it a preview or is it available to be used?
Okay, so then Oakley Terry, who helped us in the beginning of the session with our microphone, thanks to him. And he was saying, writing that I don't think it can unless the user has been added to the global address book. Did you remember it? Or?
Yeah. So I'm not sure. That's why I said previously it wasn't available, like you couldn't do that, but I'm not sure. I think I read somewhere, but as well as there's a lot of posting different things. So but though I can check. I don't know. Did you noted my email on that last slide? But if you have any additional questions, or you want me to get back to you on like these particular questions, just send me an email with a question, and I will try to reply as soon as possible. As well as I like to learn and read a lot of articles, so it would actually be my pleasure to answer you if you have any questions, even if I currently not sure about this.
So actually, I will share all the information with the links to YouTube channel, and people will have an opportunity to watch the replay video. And of course, I will share your credentials. I mean, your email address and etc. So let me go on with Pragati Jane's comment. She loved your recipe example.
Yeah, I kind of get hungry as well.
Thanks to you. And then Yelena Stoyadinovic, I think I pronounced correctly. When should we use Canvas app and model-driven or driven apps? I think you answered to this question while you were talking about the difference between them. Okay.
Yeah, I think it is covered. If you need any more explanation, like we can just send me an email. But in general, for bigger chunk of the work, let's say, in simple words, if you have a lot to do on the logic side, go with a model-driven app. If you have a simple task, go with the Canvas app.
Okay, so the last point, once again, Pragati, comments, right? And it's if you can share. Okay, thanks, Jasmina. That's cool. If you can share the app outside the organization, I can do the digging to confirm. And then amazing presentation, Jasmina. Should deliver a second part of this session soon. I will be the first one to join. Okay, thank you. It's honor for me specifically to host you, Pragati. And by the way, Pragati has delivered for 2 times in 1 year for the attendees, for the subscribers of Power BI, modern user impact groups. So first of all, I would like to thank you, Jasmina, once again, and to active participation of our attendees, to Oakley for his support, to Pragati for her active participation, also to others for joining. And I would like to kindly ask one thing, last thing. If you don't mind, be so kind as to turn on your cameras. I will take one picture and then we'll say, and by the way, hello, Claudia.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see some faces.
Claudia is also our one of active participants, and unfortunately she joined a little bit later. So
I hope you got to learn something here, and it is kind of useful. Except we all got hungry, but yeah, never mind.
So I'm not so good at taking pictures, but if you can, please smile. I hope you have smile faces. So 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to take a picture. So that's it. Okay. So okay. So yes, it's good. I think everybody is smiling, so that's very good. Okay, so that's all from my side. Actually, it's very good to see you once again. There was a long time between this session and my previous session, but I'm very happy that I'm back. So, and it's honor for me to see you once again to organize this kind of sessions. Okay. So if you don't mind, and if you have something, please unmute yourself and talk. If not, so with your permission, I would like to say you goodbye for next session, right? Okay. Thank you once again. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed as I did by presenting to you. And yeah, see you on the next session.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.